So what are the fundamental stages of legal work common in all transactions? Okay, no matter what. Number one, deal structuring. Whatever the transaction will be, what does it look like? What does the deal look like? I'll give you an example. Okay, so let's say I want to buy a company, right? Okay, I decide that, okay, this company is nice, it's a competitor. If I buy this company, it will be very beneficial for my business. Okay, now what are my options? I can buy 51%, I can buy 100%, I can buy 10% of shares, or 15%, 25%, many different situations. Second, very important, okay, if I am, when I'm structuring the deal, right, very, very important, there can be a certain number of like how do we actually affect the deal? For example, maybe, in the same transaction, am I buying the shares of the from the promoters, or or is the company issuing new shares? If the company is issuing new shares, then company will get the money. Say, imagine Lawsico. Okay, let's say you want to, Lawsico is a private limited company, and you want to invest in Lawsico, right? So there are two options. So in Lawsico, I and Abhyuday, there are 4 co-founders, and we have shares. So one option is that you buy our shares from Lawsico, then we will get the money. Individuals, Lawsico won't get anything, right? But we have sold our shares, we make money, we are happy. The other option is that you are not giving us money, but Lawsico is issuing shares to the new investor, right? So the promoters are not getting anything, but the investor is getting shares, and the company is getting money. So the money is coming inside the company. So that is another option. Another option is that half, maybe there is a mix of shares being issued, and half, and partially, not half, maybe a part of it, a percentage of it, there is promoters selling shares. So this is one option. There are other options also, like the share that is being sold, or the share that is being bought or invested in. Is it a preference share or a common stock of the company? What special rights will come along with that share? Sometimes it is a convertible debenture. Sometimes it's a compulsorily convertible debenture. Sometimes it is non-compulsorily convertible debenture, right? So there are a whole lot of different kind of instruments that can be used, okay, and the deal has to be structured. Sometimes that, maybe Google is investing in Lawsico, then Google may not directly put the money in us. It may invest through Google India, and then there, or maybe it sets up a new company in Mauritius, or I don't know, in some other country, to save some taxes, maybe Singapore, right? So there are many, many such examples where deals are being structured in a very smart way to save on taxes, to for other purposes, like, maybe intellectual property rights is being transferred to a different country. All kinds of deal structuring happens, and very smart lawyers are doing this work. Okay, so deal structuring is very, very important. Next is due diligence, right? Due diligence is very important next step. So once the deal is structured, by the way, remember that deal structuring is not done by junior lawyers. It is done by very senior lawyers. It is done by investment bankers and, like, the corporate honchos. They do the deal structuring. But the deal structuring is very important for you to understand. Why is it important for you to understand the deal structure? Because depending on the deal structure, all the other work happens. For example, due diligence is the next step. When the deal structuring is done, the second step will be due diligence. And in due diligence, what you are doing, okay, so if you are going to buy Lawsico as a company, you want to acquire Lawsico, right? Or you are going to invest in Lawsico, you may want to know what is the situation with Lawsico before you buy Lawsico, right? Has Lawsico violated some tax laws, that Lawsico has huge tax liabilities? Okay. Has Lawsico breached some contract that tomorrow we might have to pay a lot of damages to some party, some other counterparty? So it is important before you are investing. Let's say you are investing 1 crore in some company, right? Now you are hoping that this money will give you some returns, but your calculations can go haywire if you don't know what is happening inside the company. Are there some problems? For example, a due diligence, like while some Metas, a company called Metas, which was Satyam Group's company, when it was trying to raise money, a due diligence exposed that there was a fraud that was happening, and then Ramalinga Raju got caught, went to jail. It all happened because of due diligence. But imagine that investors bought the shares of Metas without realizing all this. Then they would have gotten screwed. Okay, because they would be in a very big problem. All their money will be lost, and it has happened to many companies later. Okay, people who have invested in companies without realizing all the problems there. So this is why before investing in any money or before buying any company, you want to do a due diligence. And how much due diligence will you do? What documents will you look at even before giving a loan? Okay, so structuring of equity transaction we talked about, but structuring also happens before a loan is given. That how the loan will be given, what will be the security for the loan, okay, who is giving guarantee, what is happening, right? What rights the bank or the lender or the NBFC will get in against lending so much money. All of that is structuring. Okay, loan is structured before, and then due diligence is done to check that, okay, is this company reliable, is everything in order, can we give, and if some problematic things are found during due diligence, then the valuation company of the company may reduce, right? The valuation, maybe it was 50 crores and 15 crores of liabilities were found, it might be reduced. Or maybe the investor may decide, I don't want to invest. The bank may decide, I don't want to lend money to this guy. The acquirer company may decide that I don't want to acquire this company, it has too much problems. So that is the purpose of due diligence. And during the due diligence, you are trying to see, is there any red flag, is there any problem, is there any difficult situation? Okay, next is documentation, contract drafting and negotiation. So once the due diligence has happened and all the shortcomings of the company, some non-compliance, maybe some labor law they have not followed, maybe they have not done some compliance with the MCA or whatever other regulator, all of that is figured out, then the agreement is done. So it can be a loan agreement, okay, term loan agreement if you're taking a loan from the bank. It can be facilities are there, loan facilities. If it is a banking agreement, different kind of agreements are there. Now, in case it is a investment agreement, it can be a shareholder agreement, it can be a share purchase agreement, it can be a share subscription agreement, it can be a share purchase and subscription agreement, it can be a business transfer agreement. Sometimes the deal structure is such that you are not buying any shares at all in a company. You are just buying all the assets of the company. Maybe Lawseco has a factory and you're just buying the factory as a asset. Then there's a business transfer agreement. You don't have any share purchase agreement in that case. So all depending on the deal structure, different kind of agreements have to be signed and different clauses will be there in those agreements, and then it is negotiated. So both the sides come up with their version of the agreement and then they negotiate with each other, trying to come on the same page about what the final agreement will look like, right? So this is documentation and negotiation, third stage. And where is the other stage? I think we missed one more stage is there. That is deal compliance. Okay. The next stage is deal compliance. That is the fourth stage. It's very important. And it is funny that whoever made the PPT missed it. My assistant has missed it because people forget deal compliance during the work. It's a very common reason why people get fired from law firms, because they forget to do deal compliance. They have done all the work, very happy, transaction closed. Now the fourth stage is deal compliance. If you forget to do deal compliance, then there will be huge penalty on your clients and it can make you lose your clients. So it is a very, very big problem, and junior people are entrusted. See, not all work in a law firm is given to junior lawyers, but due diligence is done by junior lawyers and deal compliance is definitely done by junior lawyers. And this is something that you should be able to do. If you can't do this properly, you are in deep trouble.